A pleasure to meet all at last, and welcome back to Nerf Secrets Revealed Aftersought. So now, here's what we're gonna try. We're gonna try something different when it comes to the series entirely. And in this particular occasion, why don't we try ourselves the Elite Stratobow. This is pretty much a rare case of an older blaster being reproduced and resold in stores, possibly as some sort of liquidation. And I'm sure other factors are in it for the reason why the Stratobow is apparently still selling in stores even after nearly 7 years since it was first made and released. But you know what though? I'm just gonna give it the benefit of the doubt and just simply say, I now got the Stratobow. And well, I could probably go at it for hours talking about everything about the box entirely, but that'll kind of just distance us from the whole point of this. But I can at least showcase a couple of things. It can apparently hold 15 darts and fire them. 85-foot range claim, 26 meters, for international viewers of course. 48 darts are in fact included in this whole set, judging by this part in the box. And let's look at the backside. The blaster in and of itself is basically a bow that can hold a ton of darts, so I guess there's not really a whole lot else left to put together, so let's just see how this does out of the box. And now, here we are. This is the Stratobow itself, out of its own box, fully loaded with all 15 darts that it can fit into its ginormous barrel system. Just a giant block that holds 15 different holes in them. And well, as you can see from its design entirely, I'm kind of surprised. This thing mostly is pretty lightweight. It doesn't feel as big as I would have imagined. And in terms of comfort, it's definitely there, for sure. And well, of course you probably know by this little orange tab here that this is how you actually prime and even fire the blaster. To prime, it just simply works like this. Pull back on the string, create tension. There's an orange indicator right down here where the grip is, and that's pretty much that. And for the most part, this does utilize its own smart AR system. So let's see if we can fire a few of them off. It does seem that you gotta start all the way around here. That's something I didn't quite notice when picking up this blaster, that you gotta push this thing up and down. It's pretty much like the Magstrike AS-10, the way that it utilizes its own ratcheting system along with its own proprietary clip. And with this, it's a similar feat because it utilizes gear systems so that way it moves smoothly up and down with a pretty satisfying ratcheting action. But for the most part, you just gotta start down here and now 2 darts fired there, so well, you pretty much get the idea there. The Stratobow is in fact a compound bow. It has this, and honestly, it actually does pretty good for what it's supposed to do. In terms of being able to fire off, grabbing this, pulling it back, and then just building up the tension, releasing to fire, actually does work pretty well with this model. There's not like a few other different types of bow models that I have talked about before then, and some that I most likely will talk about in the future. But I guess for right now, there probably won't be that much of a usage for those kind of bows because this seems to be a really good example, surprisingly. I never quite figured that this is the kind of blaster that I would ever get to find that actually does very well at what it's supposed to do. So, I guess with that in mind, a 15 dart blaster like this really is quite a king when it comes to bows. It's very comfortable to hold, very lightweight, and you can easily move it around however you feel like. It holds a large capacity, surprisingly, and it does have its own sort of unique system where you push it all the way down to get it down to the furthest point on the top, and then as you fire, it just comes upward like so. So I guess with that in mind, it probably would be time to move on to the Invisibility modification. But this is a bow, unfortunately. It hasn't really gone off too well, even if I've tried with all my might. I could never find a proper technique that could simply allow for invisible integration within blasters like this. And so, unfortunately, this is one of those moments where I'm just gonna have to call that one off. And so, this basically concludes my little overview of the Stratobow in its entirety. So, good blaster, nice ergonomics, lightweight, easy to handle and carry, has a good capacity, and if you're wondering about the scoring of this, then well, it is a solid 8.0 out of 10.1. And with that in mind, thank you very much for watching this bit, and I'll see you guys later with another section of Aftersought.